Is it my turn?
Welcome everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Talk to Me About. It's been a while, I know. Hopefully you guys can all check out that awesome intro that played at the start that was made by the wonderful Fire, Jaden.
Thank you.
Say hello, Jaden.
Hello.
I'm your host, Dee, and then guess what? I'm here with a new microphone. Doesn't it sound slightly less shit? I know. I'm here with my co-host, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
That's wonderful, you know, that was a very nice hello.
Thank you. I try to be a positive person.
Today, we are with a couple other guests, too. Hi, Melly.
I'm back, bitches! I'm back!
I can't keep Melly away. I've got the gate up, but she keeps sneaking in. I don't know how it works, how it keeps happening. And I also have another guest today, the Bridget community leader, if you will, Neb. Hi, Neb!
That's so sweet. Hi, everyone. That's me. You might know me as Vivian more just by my handle, but yes. Hello. Thanks for having me.
And
I'm very
I should
excited.
probably do a proper intro, but we also have Fire here today, who not only made the intro, but is probably the biggest writer of Bridget on AO3. The creator of Twin Fates.
Gosh.
Hello.
Hi. It means so much being on here, so thank you.
No prob. Today we are here to talk about the most important Guilty Gear character, which might sound daunting, but it's gotta be true.
She is the main character after all, so.
She's the main character, she's the face of the series, she was there at the start in Missing Link. If you didn't put the secret code, she was right there the whole time.
She did kill Justice.
That's true.
So
She did do that.
Do you guys remember when Bridget looked down at her bloodstained hands and prayed and said, "I'm the Guilty Gear"?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
She did do that. She did do that. Girls are always doing things like this.
Do you remember when Bridget invented Zep? I thought that was really weird of her, but it was so cool that she did that.
Oh my god, and who could forget when Bridget went into the backyard and then handed down the secrets of magic to her 5 disciples, the Conclave and Asuka Arcoids. That was incredible.
That was so incredible.
So,
that girl.
With all that out of the way,
that woman.
I should say, how did all of you get into such a wonderful woman? Not like that, not like that!
I mean, for me personally, it was just like, you know, she was just always one of those characters that was just popular on the internet for like the longest time. And I was into Guilty Gear for like quite a while.
To consider, like, oh, she's Miss 2002 dominating, like, 4chan boards, and it's like, oh, now here she is!
And, you know, like, I played a lot of Plus R before I played, like, before Strive ever came out, and, it's funny, because I used to headcanon her as a trans boy, just because I felt like that made sense with the story, even it well, obviously didn't make sense, but I was like, you know what, to make this less weird, I'm just gonna do this, but
No, honest to God, same here. When I first heard her story, I also thought this was gonna be in the trans man angle, because it was like, oh, she's trying to, you know, embrace masculinity, so I think that's probably where it's going. I didn't realize that Daisuke put the wool over my eyes, and he was saying, no, she's purposefully trying to go that angle, but she doesn't actually mean it. She's just trying really hard out of dysphoria, which I think is probably more true to life when you really consider it, but...
Oh, that's my experience 100%.
I'm just gonna interject slightly. I fucking called it. I have the receipts to back it up. I've been 2 months before it came out. I called that shit. From the like one art of her, it's like all the female characters from Plus are at the beach. I was like, damn, look at that trans girly go.
So real, so real.
To me, at least, it also feels like in all of Daisuke's drawn art, it always felt like the impression was that, oh no, Daisuke just completely treats her as a woman, and that was just always the case.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we got the reveal that I feel like, oh wait, this was just kind of what he was doing. I see.
I do believe that there actually is one comment on a piece of Bridget art where he's like, she, I mean, you know, it's a man, but she. And
it's always a bit awkward to look at the previous material with Bridget, considering how she is now, and it's like, okay.
I think of it as just like looking back at old pictures of myself, really.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think also it's just kind of like, it's, you know, it's a record of the time, and it's not something said like maliciously. It's just how it was like at the time. Like that's just where her story was at, and so I don't think there's any shame in looking back at those records where she goes by he, because that's still a part of her story.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as people understand it's not currently the case.
It's kind of like building the foundation of why she's trans in the first place. Like,
and isn't that what makes Bridget such an awesome character? I don't want to get ahead of myself. I agree. I'm so excited to talk about her.
Hold on. 1 second. I just wanted to pop in. Jaden, I didn't get your thoughts on it. You know, what made you initially draw to Bridget? Obviously, she's such a major point, like part of your life. It's your face claim, and you've written so much about her, more than anyone else. I feel like.
Well, I've been like eyeballing the Guilty Gear series for like a good couple of years. I was like, ooh, what's this like dude who goes like Dragon and all like punches people? Like he seems awesome. And eventually, I heard that Strive is gonna be on like it was gonna be out to the public, and I was like, ooh, you know, might as well just get into the game. And I like popped in and out throughout like the entire like series, and then I saw that there's like a trans woman at it, and I was like, oh, I should like really get into this game now. And I got into it. I bought her, and I was like, wait, actually, I love her playstyle and I love her lore. Like, I love this game a lot, and I kind of just like fell in love with the series ever since. But I
think it was really wonderful as a bystander to just you personally watching you like go to liking all these different fighting games, and I've seen you like on Plussy, I've seen you on Exert, I've seen you on other characters in Strive, and now seeing you like as a Johnny main and all the cool stuff that you do now. Like it's like, oh, I just think that's really nice.
Like, of course, I still love Bridget.
I just think it's neat.
Of course, I still love Bridget and all, and I do still main her and like do her in tourneys, but she's opened up a new avenue for a series that I just adore, and also arguably my second favorite character, Johnny.
Let me do my my history with the series. I mean, the first time, the first time I ever actually heard the series was like when I was like 10, and from the death battle between Soul and Fragile.
That is
so real.
I was like, huh. I see.
Well, because I didn't know who the fuck they were. I just knew they were
to watch that now.
Well, because I still think about that stupid fucking the Vat Man bit, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it wasn't until right before, like a couple months before Strive came out, one of my good friends, Jaden, different Jaden.
Oh, for a second I was gonna be like, what, the lore?
No.
Time travel.
Yeah, just one of my close friends. You know, we had bonded just because we were like just friends of a friend who grew close, and then they were telling me like, oh, there's this like fighting game I'm really looking forward to. It's called Guilty Gear Strive, and they were like, and they, like showed it to me. I was like, oh shit, this looks cool. And it's like, oh my god, that's Soul Bad Guy, and like I recognize that guy. And eventually, I just kind of got drawn into the world, and a very fun Vivifact, because I think I didn't really have much of a presence in the scene until kind of Bridget came out, and that's kind of where I think a lot of people know me from. Before that, I actually mostly interacted with like the Chip and Biken, and like those were like the characters I drew a lot.
I remember you talking about this recently, where it's like I think I vaguely remember your Chip era.
Yeah, I went through that kind of whole era, and I think that's just a very funny thing to look back on. But yeah, I just took like a break.
All right, Jaden, you're up next. I'm gonna beat your ass.
I was just gonna say we should probably set the room to be like best of 3 or best of 5 or something, just so
I don't know how to do that.
So
Also,
go
I
into
think you have to do it
the
before
press
you make
pause.
Oh
the.
no,
Then
I'm
go
having a
into
Strive
the-
server moment. I'm stuck in connecting. No. Okay, no, it's good. Oh, now it's not. I love you, Strive.
Lovely. At least it's fun to look at your house.
Sure.
I just kind of put things everywhere.
Yeah, it looks nice. It works.
Yeah.
It's very interesting
but,
too to consider, if I may, just for a moment, jump to the gameplay
please.
aspects of her. Bridget in Plus R was a low tier, bad, awful character
my-
who did not
there's
do.
no- I wouldn't say there's any really bad characters in Plus
She
R.
has
Like
good
there
parts.
there's Testament, there's the top 5. And there's characters that are better and worse, but every character is viable, I'd say. You know, like Plus R is honestly one of the most balanced fighting games I've ever played, even though it does have Testament and Baiken and Zappa.
I think
Dizzy
Zappa is just a
and
war crime of a
Chip and
character,
Faust.
even more so than HC. Like, I'm just like, holy shit, they allowed this?
Dude, it's yep, they sure did.
But what I wanted to say is that I think she had a very interesting playstyle over back then where it's like, oh,
Oh,
she
yeah.
hits you, and then she runs away to the top of the screen, and that's it. That's the Bridget gameplay.
She's just like me.
Yeah, she's like got her whole like the yo-yo set. It's so cool. I kind of miss the Roger specials
Oh, I do too.
from Plus R in Strive, just because
It was
I feel
actually
like that was
control
really
Roger on the screen too, right?
yeah.
or-
So it was like what you would do was you would set the yo-yo, and then you could do specials. You could either manually recall the yo-yo, or you could do like specials that would have Roger set at where the yo-yo was. And there was like Roger fight, there was Roger blade, and there was the
Roger fight.
I don't know if these are the
Roger
actual
kill.
names of them, but she would say like Roger fight whenever you used it in one of them.
No.
Or it's like Mr. Bear.
Mr. Bear.
Mr.
Oh,
Bear.
she's very respectful.
Yeah,
She's just a cute girl.
She's
she
such a cutie
is.
cutie.
I love her.
I love it.
Another thing that I think is really cool is that in Plus R, she's the character with the most amount of frames of animation, which I think is really fun. And that Daisuke was like, oh yeah, I was inspired to make Bridget after I saw people like yo-yoing around Shibuya, and like he went to go
Yeah.
study actual yo-yoers because he had a friend that yo-yoed. And I just think it's so evident in the way she's like bopping around the screen. She's constantly dancing. She's always having a good time. Like, I think it's impossible not to look at Bridget and smile. Like, she's just so happy and fun to
She's
be
cute.
around.
I think if you hate
Was she-
Bridget,
oh,
you have no soul, and you're going to hell. No,
I hear,
not
I
even.
hear like
No.
mind booms like boom, you're going to hell. Boom.
Yeah.
Very
If you
reasonable.
hate Bridget, you have no soul, and you will wander the barrens of Purgatorio for all of eternity.
I heard you were talking about Daisuke. I just heard the word Shibuya, and we consider what's happening in Jujutsu Kaisen. I had like a
Oh my God.
I had a question
Your
here,
Jujutsu
but
posting has been kind of nice. I am not a fan of
That-
Jujutsu, but it's like making me a fan. I'm like, oh,
same.
there she goes again.
I very much enjoy it. But that's besides the point.
The combo!
Wah!
I just really like whenever the yo-yo recall hits in the middle of a combo. That's just so cool to me. That was really
It's so
sad.
satisfying to watch as like a more of a spectator than an active
I think it's
Yeah.
player
wonderful
when it comes
that
to
if
Bridget.
if YRC, when Bridget does a 6H on me, which is her cute little butt move, she just goes flying, but her butt is still out. Like, woo!
Try Wild the shield. Fucking, I don't. No
Oh
one
my
uses
gosh,
it. I don't know what it's
I
called.
absolutely love
my
her
God.
Wild Assault.
Oh my god, that was so, okay.
Just
like
like
all
shield.
of-
That's it.
I mean, I know this has been discussed to high heaven, but oh my god, all of Bridget's animations are just like
She's just.
she's it's so there's something so refreshing about it. She's just like
She's
always
so
having fun.
happy.
She's just
She's so
happy.
Yes.
cute.
Just happy to be here, and I don't know. I know sometimes you like divide it up into like gameplay and story, just over the flow of the podcast. But I think that's just something that's very refreshing to see as for a trans character who's just like, you know, she's gone through a lot. There's that there's that drawing from the art book I think about a lot, where it's like Bridget kind of like sleeping in a. It looks like she's like on a
the
train or
train car,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Daisuke is just talking about the fact that she has to kind of put on a facade, like a happy
Yeah.
visage to really kind of, even though she's actually pretty lonely and melancholic inside it, which I think a lot of people can relate to, but just seeing a trans character who's just genuinely happy and they're just having a good time. It's not like
It's not all doom and gloom where it's like, oh,
Exactly.
I'll never be a, that kind of stuff.
their identity isn't used as like a point of conflict. I mean,
Yes.
it's a point of growth, but it's not like the problem in their
Yeah.
story.
I
It's
think it
and
helps too that
she's
Bridget's
happy.
identity is being this cool, athletic, cheery, fun girl. And that's just exemplified also by the struggle that she went through, and it feels so empowering how cute and wonderful that she is. Like, it's like, oh, she really is free now. That's like, I think that's so fun.
Absolutely, it's a part of her character. It isn't her character. That and the blood beating up people. Bounty
Dude,
hunting.
the want some extra bloodshed to go with your beating. That's an insane line. Like, what is your problem, girl?
I think it's an interesting character decision that Daisuke was like, okay, in Plus R, Bridget is confused, cute, and very athletic. Those are the core character traits of Bridget. When bringing her over to Strive, it's now that she's not confused. Now she's just bloodthirsty and sassy and snarky, which I think is kind of fun.
Like, kind of greedy a little bit. Like, just,
I like
hey,
that
be sure to
her-
pay me when I beat your ass.
I think it's so true, and that I think it's been so true for every trans girl that I've met too, and that I'm friends with personally. Where it's like
You should
you
give
become
trans women money.
or sorry, you embrace being trans, and then it's like, oh wait, I'm in love with myself actually. Wait, I'm a cool person. Oh wait, I'm the cutest thing ever. And it's like,
Give me
that's
money.
so true.
Yep.
Therefore, my thesis is trans girls are allowed to commit any crimes they want.
This is true.
Yeah,
This
you
is
know.
true. This is true.
She's just being a bit silly.
Something actually about the whole entertainer aspect of her in Strive. That's something that kind of came from Accent Court, and I didn't really like the direction they went in with Accent Court, where she gives up on being a bounty hunter and tries to form a circus, and it felt like a really weird direction to take the character in after XX. But in Strive, they have her. She's still a bounty hunter, but she still have that entertainer aspect to her, which I think that's really cool. So it's
That was an incredible gameplay loop there. I just have to comment on that real quick. That was beautiful, a beautiful execution.
Girl to girl
But-
communication.
just because she is such a showy and what's the word?
Flashy.
Yeah, flashy character. So it makes sense that she would sort of take pride in the performance of it all. But yeah, I didn't really like an Accent Core when that was the whole point of her story was stopping being a bounty hunter, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, I think I see what you're getting at, where it's to treat it as a form of resignation rather than just delighting in performing and integrating it more wholly into her character.
Do you guys want to fight?
Yeah.
I can spectate.
I don't want.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think on that point,
Wait.
there's definitely a sense of they just had no idea where to go with her character.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
from what I was just gonna say I'm sure a lot of people have read the interview when Daisuke was talking about, this is back when we were in the thick of it, and there was the whole
Legal issues
oh
or
no, it's a mistranslation, all that garbage. I'm sure none of us want to go back to.
Yeah.
Daisuke was talking about this is always what he wanted to do with the character. She was always meant to be a trans allegory, and I think his specific wording was it just felt like the world wasn't ready to hear the full story, and I think now
it makes more
that's probably
sense.
why exactly, and I think also that's probably why she wasn't in Exerd, because they just weren't ready for that part of her story, but now that it's nice to see that they're finally in a place where they feel confident enough to share that vision with her after so many
Maybe
years.
it's just me. I feel like I'm sure you guys are all aware that Bridget is the most popular character in Japan by far. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
debatably, you could say it this way, it was
I mean,
her,
she was
her
top
and
of the
Dizzy
polls.
usually.
Well, actually, from the season 3, I can double check this because I'm not actually playing
Well, I'm
right
not
now.
meaning for right now. I'm saying before she was released in Strive.
Oh,
I'm saying
yes, it is.
by XX days and somewhat around Exerd days. Bridget is one of the most popular characters. She was always there on different doujins and Comiket. She dominated a lot of subculture genres. She invented a trope that I will not mention because I don't feel like getting into that.
Right.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. And I think it's that on some level, Daisuke was maybe afraid of what would happen if I do it now. Like, I don't know if he wanted, like, the kind of fan base that liked her at the time to still be into her, which is really horrible to say, genuinely, but I think he picked a good time for her to come back. Like,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm really happy she wasn't an Xrd, partially just because I don't like Xrd's sense of humor at all, and I feel like that would have been not good.
do you mind going on that a bit more? Are you referring to, like, how Ram, L, and various other girl characters are portrayed, or are you referring to, like...
I guess, but also just, like, I feel like a lot of the characters,
Ooh, that was a good 6H.
not so much in the story mode, but in the like in their like win quotes and their like intros and like in gameplay, all that stuff, they're kind of made out to be like jokes rather than
Actually take their
like focusing on what the
serious.
actual character is. I don't know how to describe it very well, but it's like
I know what you're saying. Yes, well, it's because Xrd does something
I think
interesting
Sin
where
is
it's
a really
like the
good
character that
example.
is in the story is not exactly the character that you play within the game, and they're all very like characterization flanderized selves in their gameplay, where they're very to the top and anime-esque in a sense. Because I think the biggest example is Raven, who in game is very horny. I'm a masochist. Hit me, hurt me, do whatever you want with me. Iconic.
Yeah.
And then you go into story, and he's very somber, withdrawn, contemplative constantly, and it's like you can almost feel a whiplash from those two personalities, because he does not once, in the story mode, explain or talk about his masochistic traits at all. And in gameplay, he never once brings out that somber side of himself, even with, like, maybe in his instant kill, he's like, oh, you want to experience true death, but... there's very much a disconnect there, and it's like, I think it's that Xrd wanted to show very comical portrayals of these characters rather than what they truly were in the story, and that's why you get, like, a lot of Soul's interpretations of, like, being this big, brash, hurt, like, bully kind of guy in game.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in story, he's kind of standoffish and gruff, but not exactly in your face about it. In fact, he's kind of more withdrawn a bit.
Right.
I think the story explores a lot more of the softer aspects of characters, meanwhile the game explores, like, this is the funny guy. You want to play your funny guy kind of stuff.
One of my biggest issues is like Sin in Xrd. I feel like they treat him like such a kid, and it's like, I played Guilty Gear 2 Overture. He's like, he would not say that stuff. Or like like half of the win quotes against or from Viken are like about her boobs, and it's like, dude, can you shut up, man?
I think if I can go on a slight off tangent, and then we'll go back to Bridget, I swear. I think
Yeah, I was gonna say, we probably don't want to stray too far,
I
but
know.
Yeah.
It's that for Sin specifically from Overture. Overture has a very teenage, edgy, angst version of Sin, which I feel like is very reminiscent of characters such as Rock Howard, such as Jin from Tekken. Those oh, you're almost Luke too, where it's like, okay, we're the new generation, we're edgy and cool, and we're punkish, and we hate you, Dad, that kind of stuff. But then they learn to have their family's legacy and things like that. And Sin goes through that entire character arc within Overture. And then once Xrd came out, I don't think they wanted to continue having Sin be edgy. They wanted to have him in sort of this caring, emotional role where he's exploring his emotions more, and because they wanted to save that kind of more edginess and, like, contemplation of himself arc for Ramlethal. Like, Ramlethal gets a lot of kind of the focus of Sign and Revelator, and becomes the new child character. Like, I'd say Ramlethal is more Soul's child in Xrd than Sin is in many respects. So I think it just became, like, a writing issue for Daisuke, where he's like, okay, for the rest of time, Sin is gonna take a backseat because I want to focus on Ramlethal, and maybe even Elfel a little bit too. And I think he just spread himself a little too thin in that respect, but that's about that.
Yeah. But anyways,
sorry
Bridget,
for the
I
long
love
tangent.
her so much.
She's amazing.
I'm sorry, I get really into Guilty Gear and writing.
You're okay.
Me too,
listen,
me too.
please, I think a lot, you know, I've always appreciated your passion for this series, D, because
Thank
it's
you.
clear that you love these characters and you could go on for hours, and that's why I'm so happy to see this podcast is, like, doing pretty well. It's like,
Hell yeah!
it's such a refreshing thing to see, and I think when a lot of people talk about wanting more growth and wanting more, like, the expansion of the community, it's like stuff like this where it's like new people bringing in new fresh ideas and new perspectives, and you know, that's kind of like a microcosm of what Bridget has done for the community. It's brought in a lot of fresh blood, for better or for worse, depending on what kind of perspective you have. I think better,
it's
personally.
only been better. Like, I think there are some areas of fan bases that honestly, I'd say in today's current day and age, all the aspects of Bridget's fan base that people have complained about, they left. Like, people that liked, oh, just a cute girl, or oh, just or oh, she's sexy, they have kind of gone to the wayside, or maybe I just blocked so many of them, I don't know. But I think all I see now is trans acceptance, appreciation for this girl character. I see a lot of Maybury, which I think is wonderful.
Love.
I'll do a little curtsy there.
Yeah. I don't know if this would be a bad time to get into it now. You can tell me if you'd rather go on to other aspects, but I would really, really love to talk about Bridget as the potential, as the character, and her possible relationships to other characters, such as Johnny and May, and what that could mean for her future character arc and what it means for her.
Fuck! Damn it! Like, so bad.
Oh my god!
You lagged out the game.
I looked away for a second because I was grabbing a water and I just heard fuck.
Melly's hooked up via electrodes to the game, and every time she gets beat up, it hurts her in real life.
Yeah, this is the life of an android girl.
Yeah.
It sucks.
That's my favorite isekai. Or, I think I used the wrong term. You know, that genre of fucking, you know, the long anime. Anyway,
I was reborn as an android girl.
Alright,
Yeah.
so I guess maybe things first, let's talk about, like, hey, Bridget and May, where did that come from, and why are they the most perfect things ever?
Oh, I would love to. I don't want to, you know, take over the conversation here, but I would love to lead
you're in the driver's seat.
Oh God, I don't have my license. But, you know what? Let's run with that. So yeah, where do we get? I guess it's hard because I'm sure people have always. I never want to say like one person came up with an idea, because an idea is not something that one person alone can.
No, it's a gestalt of the community in a sense where it's like, hey, we all come together and we can all make a story that we all love and share.
Absolutely, and I think also just that's like a whole thing about shipping. It's people just think like, wow, you just want to see these two characters kiss, and you would completely ignore these aspects of them just so you could see them making out, and it's like,
actually, it's
no, I mean,
kind of fun.
yeah, well, I'm sure,
First of all,
yeah, there's
even if
plenty
that
of
was
that,
the
but
case,
Well, no,
go for
what
it,
I'm saying is, like,
fun, but
yes,
yeah.
I do want to see them kiss, but I want to see them kiss it because of their characters.
Exactly.
well, yeah, and I think also it's just an opportunity to kind of explore another side of the characters, to see how they would interact together, and also just because you want to see them be happy.
Like, I am such a proponent of shipping being used to explore how different people would react and how it explores their character growths, their themes, things like that. And I don't think it's without question to say that I think May's character is better if she is dating Bridget, and I mean that with my entire chest. I mean it wholly, 1000%. It is just the truth.
Maybe that's something better. I mean, trust me, I could probably write an entire thesis paper about that, and maybe that'll be something to discuss in like a future episode, foreshadowing.
The May episode.
But yeah, listen, that's probably a little whiles away. So, but yeah, so I think a lot of it comes from not only the desire for May to kind of move along with her character, which has been a bit stagnated, shall we say, but also just, you know, I think Bridget's a character a lot of people just want to see happy, just want to see her kind of thriving in her element, because, you know, she's a character a lot of people can relate to. And so,
they're shaking hands! They're shaking hands!
They're shaking hands! Oh my god!
So for me personally, where a lot of the inspiration, because I really wanted to kind of make it a thing, was just, admittedly, it really was just a lot of like, oh, I think they'd be cute together. You know, pirate girl, funny athletic girl. You know, they interact. They're pretty tight, and wanting to see what I could do with, you know, kind of where could that relationship go? And
yeah.
Fuck, what was I about to say?
I think I just feel like they have similar energies too, where it's like May's exuberance complements like Bridget's love of life now, that like her renewed like sense of love, and like I think the fact that May is such a confident person too is something that like really benefits Bridget's like almost like anxieties about herself. And I just think they complement each other so much, and there's basis for it too, because May and Bridget have met. They are friends.
Right.
It's just and I guarantee when that new story mode comes out, we're gonna see them interact, and it's gonna be the greatest thing ever.
If we don't, I will be crying and I will be sobbing.
They've already admitted Bridget will be in the new story mode, so it's gotta happen.
Fuck you.
I'm saying if I can get all of my favorite, I mean. Testament and Johnny, they haven't been in the story. Bridget hasn't been in the story. May was in. I mean, if Johnny's there, there's a decent chance May's gonna be there, unless it takes place concurrently with another story, which wouldn't surprise me, but overall, yeah, I want to see all my favorites there, but...
It's interesting, I think the story, Johnny's arcade mode kinda implies that he was just fucking around with Giovanna while Bram and everyone were doing that, which is like,
it still
my
hurts.
God.
It's still just... I mean, I'm glad we got that story, because I think a lot of people... I've seen some, you know, scarce takes that like, oh, you could, people just don't like it. It's a man and a woman. It's like, no, I think Johnny and Giovanna, it's cool. I just wanted, I wanted to see his character do something.
I want to see
It's just fucking around.
I'd say people don't even have
slight
problems with
development we got for Giovanna in that story, but there was nothing for anybody else involved, which is why I think it sucks.
Yeah.
Whereas like something like Bridget's story, fuck. But like great development for everyone involved. Like fucking, like I didn't know Gold Lewis was divorced. I didn't know that Kai had to come out as transgender. I mean, here. But like,
Gold Lewis is divorced?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Gold Lewis is divorced.
Well, I don't know if it's officially divorced. He says separate houses, so maybe they're just going through a...
It feels divorced to me.
Yeah, I mean...
I have many thoughts about
not necessarily,
that,
but he's certainly going through a rough patch because of what's happening. You know, we don't know a lot about Gold Lewis right now. He's kind of been... We've gotten a lot of teases, but based on his theme and also what he talks to Bridget about, there's a lot about not being true to what he believes. You know, he's a dog, bark, bark. It's the vacant urge. He follows orders. And a lot of that stress has been, you know, put on him to... you know, put his head down. Is this just his job? It's what he's meant to do. And I think that's why I love the decision for Gold Lewis and Bridget to be the ones to interact in her story, because on the surface, like, they're probably the last two characters I would have paired together. Like, Kai and Bridget, I've been very adamant about the fact that I think their relationship is amazing. I think it's very sweet, you know, like, especially because Bridget's also best friends with Dizzy, so it's like she's their fourth secret child. But I think it was such like a cool concept, because, you know, that idea of, you know, don't I'm trying to remember what he tells her specifically, like
I think Gold Lewis talking to Bridget, not even just Bridget admitting that finally, you know, she's a woman after all that turmoil. I think just Gold Lewis talking to Bridget and sharing deep personal parts of himself and showing such a soft side is one of my favorite parts in all of Guilty Gear, and it felt very genuine. And honestly, I cried just from hearing Gold Lewis explain this kind of stuff. Like, I have a very different, unique reading of the situation in that I feel like Gold Lewis has some kind of queer past to him, where it kind of reads to me as like a post-Reagan, like, someone that's experienced the hardships of queer identity and maybe has lost parts of his home due to it and has felt that kind of isolation. So for him to find a new queer youth who's going through the same problems as him, and just for him to sit down and be like, no, listen, you can do whatever you want and I won't blame you either way. I just wanted to let you know that this is how it hurt me. This is what happened, and I think you should be able to be free as yourself, no matter what that problem may be.
Right.
I think that's wonderful to take the I'm American, big, strong man, and have him give him that tenderness. I think it's so genius. It's something that I would have written in a fan fiction, so I cannot believe it's real. So happy.
It's so good. It's so good.
I think that's a lot of why I love that the three characters, the interactions between Kai, Gold Lewis, and Bridget in their story, because, I mean, Kai is really a lot in the same boat. He's you know, he was a child soldier. He's never had the chance to properly grow up. He's always had responsibility on his shoulders. He's never had time to kind of properly just sit down and be a normal human. And, you know, what
now he's
what exactly
not
a
normal human.
Pardon me?
And now, like, he's not even a normal human anymore. He's part gear.
Well, exactly.
So
and
like,
what gears represent as an allegory is, I think, just a general minority. Like, but
yeah,
I don't know if
same
it's
here.
just like
I think it's really
minority
cool that
it's like the
just-
X-Men.
It's open for whatever kind of oppression is faced by society. So whether that's through race, sexuality, gender, I think gears are a good apt representation of that. Especially too for me, I feel like Dizzy reads as kind of like a refugee in a lot of XX.
Oh, absolutely.
And now more so is reading as the trans allegory a lot more, especially because of Bridget. I think it's something that will get explored more when she releases fully. Like, maybe we'll see her like embrace being the mother that she is now and how that relates to her gear identity. And I think that's just kind of cool in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Or,
and I just
like,
think...
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, it's okay. I've been going on a lot. I'm always worried about taking up too much of the conversation.
No, it's no
because
problem.
I want everyone to.
I've been on
I just wanted to
so far.
Yeah, before I just that's true. I need to catch up. But before I just lose my train of thought inevitably.
Yeah.
Just what I was saying. I think one of my favorite character tropes or dynamics is like the whole I've suffered, so I'll do everything in my power to ensure that the next generation does not have to suffer. I think it's such like a you know, not being spiteful towards the world, and to see Kai and Gold Lewis, two people who have had to go through so much hardship. We know a lot more about Kai's than Gold Lewis's, obviously, but just for them to kind of pass on that wisdom and act as parental figures for Bridget, a character who has had certainly a strained relationship with her parents, not because obviously they love her very much. They did all of this for her so that she could live, you know, at the very least healthy and do everything they can to make it happy. But for them to just kind of act as that, you know, found family, I think it's such a beautiful thing for Daisuke to share. And I think, you know, obviously we don't know much about Daisuke, but I think just the fact that he can understand, he can make like these characters from a queer perspective feel so genuine and so like I feel so heard when I listen to like think about a lot of his characters and a lot of his work, and I just think that's something really special about him as a creator and why
I was having a conversation with Soul Rad Guy, like I think 3 days ago.
Love Rad Guy.
And Soul
Shout
Rad
out to Rad Guy.
Sorry, greatest translator of all time, and just a really swell person.
Chillest dude in the
just
whole
awesome
fandom.
community figure. He's done so
Chillest
much
guy,
really
cool.
coolest
Very good
dude
guy.
ever.
And he was telling me, like, based off his experiences as an older queer person, as a trans man himself, and through a lot of the things he's translated through Daisuke's art workbooks, and specifically the conversation he has about Testament, he honestly believes Daisuke might be grappling with some kind of non-binary nature himself, and, like, I think that's so interesting that he's using his art in any way to explore that, or at least give explorations to us. I feel like with Guilty Gear, we get so much, he bears so much of his soul, and I think it's so wonderful that he's just so kind to all these people that are so different from himself, and like that makes me really happy. Bridget makes me very happy.
Bridget makes I don't think any of us would be here if Bridget didn't make us happy, but yes, I think yeah, I never like to speculate too much about. Obviously, I don't think you were trying to like get the inside scoop on Daisuke's identity, and you know, I never like to theorize about real people's identities because ultimately,
if you talk about gay characters, clearly you must be gay. No, that's bullshit, of course.
Yes.
And I didn't want to bring that up without, because Daisuke, I only brought it up because Daisuke does have a comment about Testament, where he's like, Testament has transcended humanity, just like I have, when the question about Testament's gender. So
absolutely.
And it's like, is that like a joke, or are you being for real right now? It's like, yeah, I mean,
it's just very
it is
refreshing.
Honestly, like one of the most, like I was surprised at just like how realistic her story felt to me, and just like how relatable it was, and like how real
Absolutely.
it felt. Like just because it's like, and like hearing this, because like you don't usually get trans characters that are written like how trans people really are. I feel like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It never Daisuke somehow managed to, and obviously I'm sure it's not just him sitting in a boardroom with a pen and paper doing all this. I'm sure there's like a whole team that kind of helps him. But
for sure.
It feels like they care so much about all their characters, but this character specifically. Like, I remember when that interview talking about her outfit, and like they gave her, you know, they gave her the turtleneck because she's dysphoric about her Adam's apple. They gave her the gloves because the back of her knuckles.
That's the coolest thing I've seen in my life.
I cried.
I took screenshots of that. I was sending it to all my friends. I was like, look at the attention to detail he has for this experience.
She is so transgender.
It felt so genuine, and there was so much love and care and attention put into this character in every aspect. Like, no wonder she was as popular as it was for a group of people.
Jaden, do you want to play?
I mean, we already struggle to get representation in general, and like, I mean, a lot of the times, like, I think when you look at the microcosm of transgender female characters in the FGC, like, it's a lot better now, but like, someone like Poison, for example, although I love what they've done with her recently, you know, she's like in Street Fighter like
Poison
5. I
comes
think her
from
story's
a
very
very
cool.
troubled past and character creation, and I can only hope they actually embrace her now, especially because of Bridget's identity and Ladiva's identity. I hope they can finally just outright say, yes, this is what she is, but the creators have such a troubled relationship with her.
Yeah, it's such like a mess. It's just so messy, so to see like Bridget, who it's just like, it feels like they care so much, and it just it means the world to I'm sure me, and I'm sure all of you.
Jaden, I wanted to bring up I don't remember if this was the case, and you can tell me if I'm prying too much or anything. I will gladly just back off. But was it Bridget that helped you realize you were trans, or?
For me, or?
Yeah.
I would say not really, but she's made me more, at least inclined to be like, try to be more feminine, because it's like, well, you know, she's did it and she's gone through like so much hardship, so like, why not? And I feel like it's the same thing with a lot of other trans people too. Like, even if she isn't the defining moment of why they're trans, it helped a lot of trans people just kind of just be more open about their identity, and I feel like she's had such a positive impact on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When Rad Chad was making his video, shout out to Rad Chad.
Yeah, shout out to Rad Chad.
We love Rad Chad. His Bridget Takes Over the World video, and he had reached out to a lot of people on Twitter and just said, like, why is Bridget important to you? It felt like something really special to see so many people share what this character meant to them. And I think a thing that stuck out a lot was not only just seeing someone like yourself represented in your favorite game and seeing a character who relates to you, but also in the community itself, the Guilty Gear community, like seeing so many people just like say like, oh, like, or like non-trans people just say like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Like, see people saying like they support it. It really does mean the world to see, because even if people support it, like, you know, sometimes, you know, your thoughts take over, and you're like, you know, just because someone supports something, they're not gonna like always say it out loud just because there's no reason for them to.
Yeah.
I'm rambling a bit, but
No,
I guess
it's
just
fine.
what I'm getting at is to see the support from the Guilty Gear community, to see people say like, show their support for this character, to see how much they love her, even if they can't directly relate to her. It makes us. It gives us a home. It makes us feel like, oh my god, like, we're not in this, like, losing battle against these absolute fucking degenerates, excuse my language, like, online, who just want to drag us through the dirt and rake us across the coals and make us feel like we don't belong. It's just something a lot of people could never know just how much impact it's had, and that's why I love this community. It's given me a home. It's made me feel like I belong somewhere in a place where that's I don't want to go on for too long because I know I've been talking for a while, and I also don't mean to keep apologizing for talking.
I guess the real town inside me was community after all.
So real. We are the town.
Have you guys noticed that when a new pro player in Strive realizes they are trans, they go on a huge spree of retweeting every piece of Bridget fan art ever?
Yeah.
it's indoctrination.
I think I saw that recently for Rin. I saw it recently for shit, there's a really big Bridget player. I think she's dating Romola. I can't remember.
Oh my god, I didn't know Romola was in a relationship.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either.
I feel like I haven't kept up with Romola in so long, but I'm so glad to hear she's doing well.
I know, she makes me really happy.
She's done so much for this community.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible that Guilty Gear, more than any other thing on the planet, has pro players that are so loudly queer, and I think a lot of it, not just Bridget, of course Testament too, but I think mostly Bridget, because of what she was before and what she has become now, is just such an open arms to like the trans community, and the fact that every top 8 will have trans people or bi people or like anything, and it's like, yeah, there I am, look!
Yeah.
The flags and all that in the top 8 graphics.
Testament made several of my friends bisexual, and then Bridget made several of my friends explore their gender, which, you know what, that's wonderful.
Now that's Daisuke's vision. It's his plan all along.
Daisuke.
I mean, I think part of that has to be...
Daisuke is turning
Sorry,
people
I just
gay.
got a text message on my phone from a random number that says, "Go to Wendy's." What do I do?
What are you still doing here? Oh, God, get that 4 for 4.
That's Riley tweeting you to go there for the breakfast after she was saying that it was poop.
I've never had Wendy's breakfast menu, so I have no idea if it's good or not.
I didn't know Wendy's had a breakfast menu, quite frankly.
Yeah, same here.
Apparently it's good.
This episode,
you know who else I'm sure loves Wendy's? Bridget.
Is sponsored by Wendy's.
Yep. Oh man, I'm sure after a long day of bounty hunting, there's nothing Bridget loves more than sitting back with a nice strawberry lemonade fresh from Wendy's and a quick thing of chicken nuggies.
You cannot tell me that Bridget would not gladly do a commercial for something like, hey, yeah, you get to see my cute little
would
face.
do a commercial.
She's an entrepreneur.
Dude,
she makes
no
that
photos,
swish.
please. Fucking, like,
yeah, a little diva.
Do you want my fucking autograph? It's like, dude. It's like, girl, we don't.
The Bridget meal from Wendy's.
I wanted to talk about this
She
too.
would. She would. That's the thing.
It's a fried egg on top of a burger.
She's a sponsor of Riot clothes. Like, all of her clothes have Riot on them, I believe.
I think that's just because she wears the brand.
Yeah.
Because Soul wears it too. It's like it's like the Bounty Hunter brand.
I know
think
Soul and Sin wore it before, and Bridget also did. I'm not sure if Sin and Bridget do anymore because it doesn't say Riot on their clothes. It says like "Hello, Ding Dong Ditch" and then like the
I
squared.
don't think. I know for a fact Sin doesn't.
Yeah, but at least they both used to wear Riot, and now Soul maybe it's just out of style now, and Soul's the only one who's still wearing it.
Oh, you're wearing your old man clothes. Yeah, get out of here.
He's clinging on to his youth.
But God, I'm so sad the Bridget hoodie sold out. I want it. It looks so comfy.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to get mine out of the closet.
Also, Jaden, don't let me forget. I have to send you the May hoodie I have.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I have the May hoodie, but it doesn't really fit
both.
me, and then they released the one that fits people who have long arms better. I'm like, fuck, I wish I didn't spend $150 on that thing.
Which one should I wear right now?
Oh, wait, you have both of them?
Yeah, of course I do. You think I'm not gonna
You're
have my
talking
girls?
to Mrs. Maybury right now.
Viv, you're so cool. I hope you know that.
Oh, you're stroking my ego, but you know what? I will humbly accept.
I'm awesome at stroking egos, isn't that right, Melly? I'm a proud supporter of Melly Monday.
Melly Monday, after all.
Yeah.
It is Saturday, but it's Melly Monday in our hearts.
What? I looked at the calendar. I looked at my watch. It's Melly Monday today.
It's Melly Monday, baby.
Oh, really? Damn.
Hold on, I want to see. Do I have A Simple Life on my music? Because if I do, I want to listen to it right now.
I love A Simple
I
Life.
don't think I do. Whoops.
Oh, also, I met Jaden for the first time at EVO, and she was in a really good Bridget cosplay too.
Thank you.
Aww.
I don't know if you want me to put it up on screen right now,
no.
but I will say it was awesome.
No, thank you. But
Okay.
Thank you,
yeah.
though. It means a lot.
That's so. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Frosties this year because I feel like I have like a lot more stuff going on. So I'm so excited to like meet a lot of people and see a lot of good friends. I'm hoping to meet up with like Weiss. I'm hoping to see Pike and Korra or Hex Princess. And
you guys are making me all so jealous. I feel like I have to like I'm gonna call out sick from work and lose PTO and shit and just buy a $1,000 ticket to Frosties.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm so
Are they
jealous.
still selling tickets? Are they still doing tickets?
Don't do this to me, Melly. I'll do it.
Could not tell you.
Alright. I'm checking the website right now because it's something I really want to do, but I'm really scared of traveling. And it's like, stop being a
It
pussy
makes
about it. Just fucking do it, dude.
It definitely helps if you have like people you're going with.
Yeah, which I don't.
That was a big
so-
comfort for me.
Nobody.
Melly, you gotta promise. You gotta go to Evo. I'll convince you in the next 9 months. I'll do it.
That's way further away than Frosty.
It's also so much bigger.
It's also way bigger.
We can have a Bridget party.
Don't get me wrong. As much as I'd love to have a Bridget party with the girlies, I think, yeah, for me, going to Frosty's last year was such like a nice little way to dip the toes in. Like, it's a bit smaller. A lot of people are just there for the, they're
Sajam
just
said
kinda...
once where it's like, if you're into the competitive angle, you should go to Evo. But if you're into the community angle and want just a really satisfying community experience for a game that you love, Frosties is the place to be. And that makes me so jealous
absolutely.
because I can't go.
Dude, they got Vampire Savior.
Actually, we're not allowed to talk about Sajam. He is affiliated with Chipotle, which is in direct competition to our sponsor, Wendy's. Use
Get the new Bridget burger at Wendy's.
The Bridget burger. She would absolutely have a burger.
What would the Bridget burger have on it?
Fried egg cracked on top of a cheeseburger.
Okay, but that's
It's like
really
not
good,
in
though.
the cheeseburger, it's on top of the bun.
Yeah, no, that's not that. I bet it's between them. Have you never put like a fried egg on a burger?
No,
We've had that.
Jay and I are in Jersey, so we get the Jersey burger sometimes, which is just a regular egg on top of a burger, and it's very messy, but it's really tasty too.
I don't want to dox you, obviously, but as I lived in New Jersey for a bit, actually, unless you're talking about a different Jersey.
No, I'm talking about the new Jersey that they invented.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for you too.
No, I think it's
gray, rainy, and miserable here right now, but.
Sounds about right. I keep wanting to just go on tangents because I feel like since we're all just like friends, we just want to talk about random shit. But then I'm like, oh yeah, we're recording a podcast.
Wait a second. I gotta look at my Bridget poster. Oh, look, it's Bridget o'clock. Okay, gotta go back.
Oh, would you look at the time? What were we talking about?
I think we talked about Bridget's relationship to Gold Lewis. Briefly talked about May, but I think we'll get back to that later. We talked about her relationship to Kai. I think I'd also really want to bring up her relationship to Johnny, who was actually someone that she's talked to.
God, oh, that certainly is a. it's an interesting situation.
I think it's interesting that there is a canonical phobe in Guilty Gear, but it's changed. It's changed since then, but it's definitely
it's
a
a
sign of the
non-canon
times.
ending.
Sign of the
I'm
times.
gonna plug my ears. Okay, to get real for a minute,
Yeah.
I do have something to say about that.
Yeah.
It's I mean, ultimately, I think that entire concept it's just like a product of its time. It's the.
I don't think
there's so much wrong with everything that happened.
I don't even feel like it's representative of what Guilty Gear is now and what it even was back then too. But
absolutely, and it really does just feel like some kind of like weird out of pocket joke that someone threw in, just not expecting much from it. Because I think also just like it's a sign of the times. That's the kind of it's such like a perfect encapsulation of what Bridget really was at the time, just this like kind of laughing.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too depresso or.
And I don't think we
right
will
now,
either. But I mean, if you want to, you can. But I will just say I'm a big proponent of not only just highlighting what I love about narratives, but also not being afraid to tackle what I think are problems sometimes. And I think with Bridget, it's just sometimes there is a bit of an unavoidableness where it's like, hey. In some respects, she was disrespectful at a time, but I think the creator has learned from that and has grown and changed, and so have the people
Yeah.
that love her now. And acknowledging that she was a sexualized character, even back then, even when she was slightly a minor back then too, is, you know, it's something that
Slightly a
happened.
minor.
And I think it's
It's the
that she
whole
was a
can of
product
worms.
of, like, the, you know, common
The era.
manga and anime moments at the time where it's like, hey, these are sexy schoolgirls, and
Yeah.
this is what this is, and it's like, unfortunate, but and Johnny unfortunately had to take the blow for being the character to drop that kind of cultural osmosis there, but
Yeah.
Yeah, First of all, I just want to say I absolutely love what you just said about. I think in this kind of modern internet era, there's such a feeling that you cannot like something and criticize it at the same time.
Yes.
The internet has made everything
Yes.
so clicky, you know, you're either
Yeah.
with us or
Yeah.
against us. You love these characters or you don't, and I think that's such a toxic mentality, because ultimately loving something means loving what's good about it, but also wanting to talk about what's bad about it so it can be better, so it can be what you want it to be. And, you know, there's no shame in acknowledging this series' quite frankly, multiple faults in some areas, like
yeah.
in certain topics,
think,
and
like-
that doesn't
Like
make me love it any less.
relating to Bridget and also relating to Dizzy, I think Dizzy is also a sour point for the series in certain respects where she
Yeah.
got ignored for all of Exert, and her character arc did get kind of thrown out in certain respects because of legal issues, but also because Daisuke, I don't think, cared as much about her as she did Sol and Kai at the time, which is unfortunate. But it's just
Yeah.
sometimes you have to acknowledge, like, hey, every series has its faults, and I do think the creator has learned and grown from them, especially because of Bridget. Like,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't think I would change anything about Bridget as she is right now. I think she's so wonderful. And I think the
And-
same thing will happen with Dizzy when she comes around, too.
I hope so. Because
Yeah,
Dizzy's also one of my
I-
favorite characters.
I
I
know.
love Dizzy. I'm a big Dizzy fan.
Get me on the Dizzy
But,
episode, man. You don't need me to get me on the Dizzy episode.
No, you're already on like half of these. You're getting on.
It might as unofficial part of the cast.
There's only 7 that are like absolutely must. I need to be on this episode, which is like.
I know, I got you hooked up for the
Yeah.
Justice one.
Oh, that's gonna be just me. That's gonna be just me.
And D and I aren't even going to be on it. It's just you.
It's like, did you know
It's
that
just Melly
Justice-
rambling in a room for like an hour.
The intro
Yeah, just-
passes, and it's like, I'm not even there, and Melly's like, oh, welcome back to a new episode of Talk to Me. Talk to Melly about.
Welcome back to
I
Melly
don't even do an
Monday. In
intro.
this episode,
It's just
we're
like
talking
3
about
hours of
justice.
me just rambling about how much I love Justice.
Yeah, it's actually just capturing 3 hours of your total 7-hour rambling, because that's where the audio
Yeah.
cut off. Crap. We keep going off on tangents, and because like I want to indulge them so bad, because I'm like, oh, I want to hear what you think about this, or like let's
Yeah.
talk about that. But
Yeah.
I
I do
keep
want to
forgetting
give
to bring it back.
a brief moment.
We're talking about Bridget.
Jaden, is there anything that you have thoughts about? Like, you know, I haven't heard from you too much yet, and I'm very interested in your Bridget thoughts because I think I've talked to you about Bridget more than anyone else I know.
Oh my God.
And I always feel really happy when I hear your Bridget thoughts.
I have a lot that I've been like wanting to like share at this time, and I've kind of just been like, I need a time that I need to share this. But firstly, I had someone mention this, and I was like, all right, I gotta clear this first. I've noticed a lot of people do Bridget's hoodie very differently, and I feel like it brings a lot of character
Really?
expression. Yeah, like either they
Yeah.
draw her hoodie more tighter on her head, or they draw it looser, and it shows a lot of hair. There's also a lot of different ways people can do her hair, and I feel like it brings a lot of character expression to already a very expressive character. And I think it's very unique that it's something I've noticed a lot with Bridget, and not too much with other characters, but I could be wrong. But I also do feel like a lot of other people do have different ways of drawing other characters too. But it's just something I've noticed with Bridget a lot.
That's a really good point. There's one of those old like Tumblr posts that I think about a lot, where it says like you can tell someone really loves a character when they like add little quirks to the way they draw them. Like they'll give them freckles, they'll give them scars, they'll change their body because it shows that they just have so much passion for it. And I absolutely agree. I've seen that a lot with Bridget. I think one of like, you know, I've seen recently like a lot of people have been drawing her a bit chubbier, and I think that's wonderful because it gives.
So
Thank you so much for talking about that, because the chubby Bridgets have been making me so happy. I think that's my Bridget. You know, I think a lot of people have their own Bridgets, but that's my Bridget. I really love chubby Bridget. I used to have the mod installed. I took it off for this, but it makes me so happy. Like, because I've noticed too with some trans women, like HRT does make you gain a bit more weight. Like, it's just something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also like better to gain weight when you're doing it, so that the effects work better.
Yeah,
which is something I struggle with. But
yeah, shout out to Maya Mode, who I've seen definitely champion a lot of that.
I love their art style so much.
It's so soft.
It is.
So cute.
I think it's
also just really funny. Just a really funny person.
Bridget artists is that you can tell each artist from each other based off their style, and they all have different ways of exploring. Like, oh, this is my silly little goober. She makes me happy. Here you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's. I think that's. I know we touched on this before, but just the fact that this character means so much to people, because that's why, you know, fandom culture so much. It's like getting to see a character like you. I was at a I can't fucking believe I'm talking about this in like these two events are coinciding. I was at a fucking lecture for my English course last night, and it was a queer playwright who has done a lot in the Canadian, you know, scene. She's done written a couple of TV shows, and she was talking about the reason she wanted to add, you know, strong queer characters to her series is because when you grow up and you don't see anyone like you, the natural conclusion is that you're the problem, you're wrong, you're different.
Exist. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why there's such like a community about like, you know, stuff like shipping and headcanoning. It's because seeing our favorite characters like take on traits that are just like us, it makes us feel human, it makes us feel seen, and I think that's why a lot of people just can't understand what this character especially means to us. To see, you know, we don't have to headcanon her. She is right there.
Yeah,
like it's a character for us. We feel seen, and you know, it's a shame that sadly, especially, you know, I've noticed it a lot in the community recently. It's just like people are exhausted of seeing her, and I understand that, because
what other series can you say that the most popular character is an out trans woman? I have never seen that before, ever. That is so incredible.
I couldn't tell you.
Even La Diva is a side character and not like at all important in Grand Blue. Like, Bridget is right there, and she's so like. She's on the cover of like everything. When you buy the DLC pass, they had to invent a new way to buy DLC because so many people bought Bridget.
Yes.
She's on every piece of promotional merch. She's on the front of a Japanese train out of Tokyo right now. Like,
yeah, that's
I saw a Bedman person be really upset about that recently.
Well, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah,
I will not.
Let's not get into that, but editor.
Shit was crazy.
But yeah, that is something I wanted to just address some personal thoughts about that, because admittedly, Wholehearted, recently I was a bit nervous about doing this episode because I've been feeling burnout, just, you know, like creatively, but also just it feels like there's been a lot of hostility towards, especially with, you know, that train advertisement, the fact that Bridget is front smack dab center, and you know, it's just it brings that side of people out, and I always want to try to be as objective as possible when I talk about stuff like this, because I mean, I'm the Bridget person, like obviously I'm going to be biased, but I also want to I want to try and use the influence I've somehow managed to acquire to kind of shape the community in a way I feel like is healthy. And, you know, maybe some people disagree with what I think is healthy, but c'est la vie. And I understand where people come from when they say, like, they're so sick of Bridget being everywhere. It's exhausting. You know, like, she's not the main character. Oh my god, delete her from the game, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get bogged down by that negativity, because, I mean, this is, like, one of the first... Like, I think Vadiva and Cagliostro are both fantastic characters, extremely well written, but this is something a bit different.
It's just, I
their
think
experience, I feel like, isn't as, like, explicit. It's not as, like,
it's more like a cool fact
like,
that you learn rather than, like...
Yeah. It's not a really big part of their
sorry, let me get out of training mode.
Is that they are trans, specifically.
I mean, I think it's just a different... I know it's not really super addressed in, like, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, because that's more like an offshoot, but a big part of Vadiva's character is, you know, accepting the fact that, you know, they love their body for who it is, because they love themselves, and I think that element of the trans self-love, you know, they... I don't know how many people know this, actually, but because Cagliostro is also trans,
yes, but she took... You can think of Ladiva and Cagliostro as the same character that took a different decision. Like, Ladiva is one that has learned to accept the body that she was born as, but internally recognizes herself as a woman and finds pride and joy in that, and is still exuberant about her body, but does not exactly feel that much body dysphoria. Meanwhile, Cagliostro is someone that did feel that body dysphoria and did make the choice to change and is now happy with the self that she has created. So you can say that these are both aspects of how a trans woman may examine the fact that she is uncomfortable with her assigned gender at birth. And it's interesting too that like if you wanted that character arc to go a different way, you have two characters to represent that, which I think is very fun, and I congratulate that narrative for taking that choice. It's very cool.
Absolutely, I think I love those two characters because they're so it's also refreshing, and they're not treated as jokes. They're given such genuine love, and I have to commend Grand Blue for that. And also, just something what I had wanted to mention was the fact that I actually played like the actual Grand Blue Fantasy for a bit, and there's a scene between Cagliostro and Vadiva where essentially Cagliostro offers to Vadiva, they say like, hey, I can give you like, I'm the master of alchemy, I can use my alchemy to give you like a more traditionally feminine body, and Vadiva turns it down because they love who they are, and that's like a moment that'll always stick with me, because I was like, wow, that's like
really nice.
It's beautiful. It really did make me tear up, and I think that's just such like a touching moment. But what I wanted, the reason I brought it up was because I think it's just like it's you don't get the dysphoria from Vadiva. They don't explore that side of her because she doesn't have it, and that's not a bad thing. She is just
trans joy.
Yeah, and it's just it's just different. It's
and
different.
I think it's wonderful that it's like at this point you have the option that like it's like a dinner. You have now 3 plates in front of you instead of being forced to have 1 plate and say this is your meal. This is how you will enjoy your identity. This is how you will explore yourself. Now there's like a couple different plates out there, which is pretty nice. Yeah. You can pick and choose which trans experience relates most to you and how you feel. And it kind of sucks that some online are still under that 1 plate mentality where it's like, well, this one related to me, and the other ones are like, just exploitative, or like, oh, this one is just not good, I don't like it. And
it's exhaustive.
Like, the fact that recently I saw someone that was like, oh, Ladiva sweeps Bridget, this and that, and it's like,
oh my god,
like, shut up, man.
Yeah,
like,
shut up, who cares?
It's like, why are you going out of your way to... I made a tweet about that. It's just like
putting
why
other
are you trying to compare
trans people down for what? For what?
For Twitter life.
Just because you
so
think a character shows up too many times, like you're weird.
And I think that's also something that ties back to the general mentality of, you know, like I've seen the take like, oh my god, what, like, you know, talking about like headcanons and stuff, like, why does this character have to? You guys already got this character. Like, that's enough. Like, why are you being so greedy about it?
You
it's
guys
like,
got Testament. Now we have to deal with this.
Oh my god! And then why are you drawing Kai like fucking like trans or whatever? Like, you already have like what the? And it's
I'm
just
not
like,
satisfied until everyone is trans for real.
It's just
Soul That
exhausting.
Guy is like the biggest trans allegory I've ever seen in fiction.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just
I love you, Soul Bad Guy.
Soul's
so
fucking
cool.
rad. I feel like Soul might not be everyone's favorite character, but I've never met someone whose least favorite character is Soul. He's just
I've seen people
everyone
that
just
hate
knows.
him gameplay-wise, but...
I've seen
that's
people
different.
that hate him who also just hate Guilty Gear, but that's separate.
Another thing,
Yeah,
too, is that, if I may just derail a little bit...
No, please.
I really like that now Daisuke is taking a direction with Bridget where she's embracing the fact that she's a bounty hunter, and guess who else is a bounty hunter? Soul Bad Guy.
Soul
and
Bad
now
Guy.
they
They
are
can be
Soul
friends.
and
they're
Prince.
crazy friends. Like,
I need them to hang out. There's
Like they have those unique lines against each other now. It's so nice.
like my friends play rough.
my friends play rough.
There's oh god, there's one of my favorite I recently did a little I read through a lot of the mangas and like the translated like Four Coma Kings comics, I think it was.
Yes, I love those. They're fun.
Shout out to Soul Rad Guy again. And
Shout out Soul Rad Guy, the best guy.
yeah, and there is so much like between Bridget, Soul, and Kai, and you know, I think well, one thing, it's people saying like, oh my god, Bridget's suddenly the main character. Like, she's always been super popular, and that's why she's shoehorned
Everyone
into
has
everything.
always loved Bridget. Like that's
Exactly, she's always been a loved
thing.
character.
Yeah.
But then also, maybe I shouldn't have used the word shoehorn there, but there's just like a certain, if you want to add it into the video of this,
Yeah,
I
if you
can send it to
it
you.
to me after, I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just like a little gag to do where they team up for a mission. Essentially, Bridget just goes into like, it's kind of like a bar, like, you know, kind of like a pub kind of thing. And like there are all these like tough guys, and they like, you know, they show themselves because it's like, well, we can take this
Yeah, I
little
can
run, and
take
then
'em.
Soul comes in and just like absolutely whoops ass, and then they split the money. I'm just like,
That's
I
so cute.
need
That's so
a
good. I love
spin-off
that.
of like Soul and Bridget's bounty hunting adventures, and
I think it's
think
wonderful
also-
that
them to hang
Daisuke
out.
is genuinely exploring that angle too. Like, oh yeah, these are two characters that know each other and that they are just gonna fuck around with each other, and like, I
I want
think
that so much more.
I think they're going to open up the angle of like Soul being kind of intimidated by how good Bridget is at the bounty hunting business. Like, we already
Oh, I
know for a
love
fact
that.
that Bridget is a really successful fuck, I got hit by that. She's a successful bounty hunter to the point where she's a celebrity. Like, and it's like, I think it's like a little character is actually an evil devil kind of thing going on, which is really fun.
It is that aspect of her character does remind me a lot of Cagliostro, who I also love. But yeah, that's something I want so much more with Guilty Gear in general, to see the way characters interact with each other, and I think that's a point of, you know, why I think that's like a certain aspect of Strive I was very disappointed in.
Yeah,
like
I
it feels
was
like
gonna
they,
say.
a lot of the what made Guilty Gear, like that over the top like rowdiness and like the fun goofy characters, like like
Wholeheartedly
Uh,
agree. I think so much of this game, they wanted it to be that, but they also had two problems. One, they did not have enough development time, and I think it's very clear they ran out of money towards the end of Rev 2.
well, especially because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
like
pandemic.
Yeah, and then also COVID.
And then
also.
the second thing is that they really seem dead set on painting Guilty Gear Strive as a American Western movie, or sorry, cinematic movie or Hollywood movie, where it's got the black bars, it's got the grayed out filters, everyone's serious and coming to recompense with themselves. It's about America and the White House, so you know it's intentional for story reasons. But the cost of that is that they only really care about hard action scenes right now, and not really the warm, loving families and things that we've come to expect from Guilty Gear in previous times. And the rowdiness and funness, it's all been toned down and molded into something that is more cinematic, is the word I keep using, I think, about it, which is a decision. I both like and dislike it. I just think it's interesting, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think there's also the aspect of it where they were very focused on the more competitive side of things, like the, you know, competitive community. And you know what? That's absolutely fair. And it feels like sometimes there's such a divide between the art side of the community and the, like, competitive side of the community, which I wish we could reach that a little more, but
Yeah.
you know, it was very obvious they were trying to make it more of a competitive like game, you know, fixing a lot of those kinds of mechanics, and I think just having less resources and time to focus on those goofier aspects is a casualty of that decision.
Yeah,
and
I think it's too, it was talked about quite a bit that Exerd's Sign was a pretty okay success, but then Revelator, Rev 2, and every balance patch and things from there declined in quality a bit because they ran out of money. They kept selling it over and over, and no one was exactly buying it because interest was starting to be lost because Exerd and XX are very difficult games to just jump into. There's, you know, specific character weights, variable wake-up timings, Gatling combos are very long and hard. Everyone that's playing it has been playing it for 20 years, so I understand what they meant, right? And the people that liked Exerd were the same people liking it 10 years ago rather than new people. I'm getting a phone call. What the fuck?
it's okay, and yeah, I absolutely agree, and I think it's pretty evident that that's where a lot of the decision to make Strive more casual came from. Like, as much as, I mean, you know how the FGC can be, you know, they know what they like it that way, and if it's not, then they'll find something else or keep playing that game, and I think that's wonderful.
It's interesting that Bridget was such a breach in that, where it's like, I think the artistic side of the community outweighs a lot of the FGC side in many respects, because Bridget as a character is more popular than I think the game in certain respects, which I am wholeheartedly for in a way, because I think the lore aspects are more interesting than the FGC aspects. Not that I don't like them, because I play this game all the fucking time and I go to my locals, but it's like very interesting and I think it's cool. I wish there could be a more breach where it's like people that like the fighting game aspects weren't afraid of the lore and didn't, you know, gatekeep exactly, but
it's weird. It feels like the divide has only grown larger in recent times, and I think part of that is FGC Twitter, maybe, but also, like, because I remember watching, like, videos where it's like, oh, even if you don't play the game and you just make art, you're still part of the FGC, because we're fucking everything about fighting games, and it's like, hey, that's not how it feels at the moment. If you wanted to say something about that, but I was mostly done.
Yeah, it was. I think just it feels like because Bridget is a catalyst for new blood in the scene, and
yeah,
a lot of, you know, also like people. No one likes change. It's inevitable, but there's unfortunately just
I didn't want to
by default going to be this association with which is I think we've all seen where. People who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're tourists. That's a big one. That's word that's come up a lot. They don't care. They all love Bridget, and that makes a lot of. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I understand where the association comes from. But I think it also alienates so many people who get into the series through Bridget because she's such like a casual, like friendly character, and
there is no denying that she was extremely successful in having people realize their trans identity, and not only that, in bringing trans people into the scene and other, of course, LGBT sectors as well, Tumblr sectors, which they don't like, and very much artist sectors as well. And it's like, if you can't deny what her impact is, and it's not cool for you to say, oh, your favorite character, bullshit, awful, whatever, and it's just annoying.
One thing I see all the time is just like, whenever Bridget gets new merch, by the way, not ArcSys's decision on what characters get merch.
Oh my god, people do not fucking understand
other,
that. They just
like companies.
They just license out the rights to use that character, and
they license out the rights to use all their characters, and then the company is like, which characters are popular, which characters are going to sell us a toy.
It's why there's
fucking
some merch for May and Ram. Like, they still get May and Ram merch constantly because, like,
Disney gets merch. Disney's not even the fucking
she's
game.
not even in Strive yet.
But no one has a problem with that.
It's like, I hate it anytime something with Bridget comes out. I mean, even like the poster that's up in a fucking train in Japan. You were like, why are you focusing on Bridget so much? It's like, I don't want the girl toy, I wanted the boy toy. It's like, you're pathetic. Why
can't we have a lot of girl toys?
Why are you upset that you can't spend hundreds of dollars?
Yeah, capitalism.
Why are you upset that you can't spend money on something?
Of liking your toy.
You're weird. Like, that said, I would love a Justice model kit.
Oh, Melly, I don't mean to
It's
pull the
never
rug out from
happening.
under you. Don't say that,
Aw.
but yeah. Something I hope it doesn't come across as, what do you call it, playing neutral too much or trying to pander
Yeah.
to that FGC side, because I have, like, what you two were both just talking about, it's such, like, an issue, and it's been a lot on me personally.
It's
Because
a mental toll, and it gets to the point
Yeah,
where you
it's
want
exhausting.
to like mute the character's name of the person that you love the most, and it's like it's such bullshit that other people have built up such aggression in their minds where that's the first thing they're gonna go to. What argument are we having now instead of this is a cool guy and she makes me happy and look at her do the shiggy wiggy and oh she's so cool like and she makes me happy. It's never that. It's like there's always a problem because they either feel deep insecurities with themselves or they're so annoyed by other people getting mad, and it's like stop.
Yeah, like there have been two recent instances. One, just like, if people know what I'm talking about, I really hope like it doesn't come across like I'm mad at this person, because they're not only are they like one of the sweetest pro players I've ever met, but they're also just like a very good friend of mine. And this isn't to say like this, they aren't like ignorant about it. They just genuinely they were just like, I had just mentioned the fact that like even just like that same day, like I constantly get like when I share an opinion about like something about Guilty Gear, the community, the system choices, that like inevitably I'll get replies and quote tweets about like, you know, people see I have a Bridget profile picture and they just write off my opinion, and it's exhausting to constantly deal with. It's those little things that build up, and they just said like I can guarantee you that side is like that's such a small minority, and it's like, or like it like barely happens, and it's just like, well, yeah, of course it doesn't happen. Like you're someone who's been, you're accepted because you play like a quote unquote real character, and it's such like a
yeah.
Of course, like I don't blame them obviously, because it's just like, well, because they don't have exposure to it. Of course, they probably don't think it's very much. It's just like, it's a problem that's so hard to convey to people who don't directly get the harassment.
Oh, I have
also,
been harassed even just mentioning Bridget, which is annoying, but
yeah, I can
so
barely even talk
crazy.
about my favorite character anymore without getting fucking
yeah.
raked across the coals, like I said earlier. But and then just one other thing I quickly wanted to mention, and then like I won't take, and then I'll let other people finally talk for once. But I do think, while it may seem like I'm sucking up to a lot of the fighting games, I want to try and be as partial as possible and say that people really need to, on like the, I don't want to say our side, quote unquote, but just like people need to stop just throwing out transphobic rhetoric as soon as someone says they don't like a character.
Yeah.
Because the issue, I understand when people are like, I'm sick of this character. Like, yeah, I get it. If that character was fucking Daryl, I don't know, random example, I'd be sick of seeing them everywhere too, and you want to see stuff of your favorite character. But it's then when people say like, oh my god, you're so transphobic. Like, look, yeah, like shut up. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Lost.
Yeah, and well, also it's just, it takes away from actual transphobia. It becomes a buzzword.
Yeah.
And like, it not only that, it just makes us look like unreasonable people. It makes us actively look worse, especially when it would be the exact same if it was any character. It's not about the fact that they're trans. It just happens that this character is extremely popular partially because they're trans, but that doesn't automatically make someone transphobic. And so I understand, I can see why some people might get exhausted when these people who love Bridget constantly call me transphobic for, you know, just saying I'm sick of seeing this character. So there's nothing I want more in my time in this community than to try and bridge this gap between these two quote-unquote sides of the community, because that's just, I've seen too many fandoms just tear themselves apart from the inside out until they're toxic, they're wastelands, and especially because this is one of the first big anime fighters to really go big, get mainstream, like. And I don't want this to be an example of everything got worse for the community once, you know, it got more casual, because that's just a bad precedent to set. It's the Overwatch League effect.
Yeah.
This is something I actually talk
Yeah,
about a
that's
lot
my
with
piece.
Dean. It's a really painful thing that I see happening in a lot of places, and I brought up Homestuck over our little cut break, but I think it's
It
like a
happens
salient
all
example.
the time with Homestuck,
Where it's
quite
like
literally.
well-meaning queer people being hyper vigilant about not allowing fucked up bullshit to like permeate into the fandom, which is like a really good thing. But then because of that, they wind up attacking other well-meaning people who maybe sometimes just have like a minor difference of opinion, and it's like it's totally cool to just regularly dislike something. There does not always need to be some fucked up ulterior motive behind it. Sometimes people are just gonna be like, I don't like your fave. You don't like my fave,
Queer
and you
people
just
have
gotta
become
move
so
on.
accustomed to the violence that we face in our real everyday lives and online that it can sometimes translate towards other queer people. Specifically, like, I know Jay brought it up, Homestuck has a huge problem with this, and just as a microcosm of it, there's a character that is a trans woman, and the person writing this character was writing her as a trans woman, but then fan A comes up and says, well, I saw this character as a trans man. Are you trying to kill me? And then they just scream at each other, and then everyone gets involved, and then everyone picks a side, and then everyone yells at each other, and then the writer gets kicked off, and then we get new writers, and then the same problem happens again and again. And this is something that has permeated a lot of what Homestuck is, and it's something I'm seeing again in Guilty Gear, and I think it's just, I'm realizing it's just a sector of every queer focused media, which as much of the beauty as of accepting like queer identity is, it's something that'll also just come with the territory as we slowly acclimate to this is just how things will be enjoyed. Because I mean, also pretty sure we all saw this happen with Steven Universe, Adventure Time, all these things. It's something I think you just have to learn and grow with, and it sucks. But I think there will come a time where it's like we don't have to be this hyper vigilant. We can just simply love things and have that be it. I think social media is just such a dangerous thing because it'll constantly show you the most aggravating thing possible, and people will immediately be into that mindset of they are attacking me and they are hurting me. Sometimes they're correct and sometimes they're not, but it's like, fuck, man. Modern social media.
Yeah, that is really, I mean, it's inevitable. As humans it's just like in our blood to always focus more on the negative than the positive. And it's why, first of all, negative comments always hit you more than like 20 positive comments. But also, that's why like it's inevitable that the bigger fandom is, the worse of a reputation it'll get, because there's just a bigger ratio of, or like there's, even if it's like the same ratio of like good, like well-meaning people and people who are just there to genuinely talk about it, and negative, bad people, they'll always remember the large quantity of bad people more than the large quantity of good people. It's just the way it is.
In any case, I think I'd like to step away from the discourse talk for a while because I want to bring in some more lighter aspects.
Mayberry talk?
I think it's time for Mayberry.
Sure. I don't have too much more time, unfortunately. I definitely do want to touch on this because, in case you didn't know, I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, did anyone want to start? I didn't want to keep going
Jaden,
and going.
I think it's time to get the driver's seat.
Jaden! Get Jaden in here.
Take the wheel.
This is more so about like Bridget and other characters, but also May as a whole. I feel like there is a lot of potential with their relationship in not only a romantic sense, but also in a friendship, because they do have a history together as seen in like XX. And I feel like they share a lot in common, more than people think that they do. And like, sure, you could go with the, oh, they're just cute, so why not just ship them? But I feel like there's also a lot that you can explore with May and Bridget, because like, you have May's very like enthusiastic, very like head first, very upbeat head first personality that kind of also goes with Bridget's, but also in a way they're like foils of each other, because Bridget is also very like kind of anxious about her own identity as well as womanhood, and I feel like May is kind of already very confident about that. I mean, hell, she wants to get a lover, and that's also another aspect of that. Like, I feel like Bridget has a lot of love that she can give to the world, and what's better than not doing it with, May? who's also...
Mei is a character that is so bound to romance, and like, I look at Mei and I immediately am just hit with Amy Rose. I think they are very two similar characters.
Yeah.
That's a really good. I never thought about that, but you're absolutely right.
I agree so much with that.
You know, two characters that are, you know, hooked on romance, have deep love for people, use that love to connect with others and grow really long-lasting friendships, and also have big, huge weapons that they use to beat the shit out of people.
Yeah.
And I see that, I'm like, okay, that is what Mei is, and Mei is so spunky, and I think that spunk really goes well with, like, Bridget's everything else. I think of Mei's spunk and her just taking Bridget's hand and saying, let's go enjoy the world together, let's go do everything together, let's be happy together, and it's like, that is
Absolutely.
It fits well with,
And I think
it fits well with Mei's outgoingness and also just how much she explores being a pirate and all. And I feel like that also collides with Bridget's bounty hunter. I mean, she's been exploring the world, getting bounties and all that for, I don't even know how long, but she's been on this for a while, and so has Mei, and I feel like there's so much more that they can explore together.
Absolutely, and I think I think the Amy Rose comparison was so apt, not only because of everything you just said, but also by the fact that it seems to some extent they are inevitably bound to be forever attached to that initial concept of romance.
Yeah, it's like Amy
I don't
Rose
think
is
it's
more
like
than
sort
just
of a
her love for
hopeless
Sonic,
romantic,
and she's
almost.
growing from that now, and that's what I want for Mei as well. I want Mei to not be tied to Johnny, and I think the best avenue for that is giving her someone of similar age, of similar mindset, energy, like, and that can experience
And a
this
contrasting outfit.
I love that they both wear hoodies. I think that's the cutest thing ever.
Okay, I need to share this super quickly because if you look at, I was looking at their digital figures. It's not only is it the like they're just both hoodies. They have the exact same like thick stitching. Bridget has it along the back, and Mei has it along. It's those little stitch patterns she has along the shoulders. And so it is absolutely my favorite headcanon is the fact that when Bridget was first starting to experience dysphoria, probably around the time of Vast Edge, Mei gave her one of her hoodies to help with it, and then Dizzy had it kind of tailored to kind of, you know, like make it her own thing.
I can hear Katie dying over there.
That was Melly, but that was also my reaction.
Oh, that was Melly. Sorry, Melly.
I love
Wait,
you.
wait,
No,
wait, what?
Melly was...
That was me.
No, Melly was like under her bed, just like, oh my god. That was also my reaction too when I heard it.
I think it just didn't. I just think it didn't pick up on my.
I love girls.
In conclusion,
girls.
girls.
You're so true. Yeah, they're just like, I don't know. I think they just bring out so many awesome parts of each other, and again, I think Mei is such like has been such a stagnant character for so long. And so many people want to see her move on, find an identity outside of just pursuing Johnny, because like Strive, Daisuke himself said, Strive is the whole point is he wants to see all the characters striving to be their happiest selves, to be their best selves. And frankly, after Johnny's story mode, is that Mei's happy ending? Is Mei's is her striving to her happiness just chasing around Johnny forever and just never getting a straight answer, being led on?
I think we got the start of it with Chip, where it's like, okay, she's finally developing friends and relationships outside of the Mei ship, and where can this lead? And Mei, I think Chip is such a good friend for her, and I think it's really fun seeing her have this sassy dynamic with him, where she's like, okay, you're kind of silly, but I'll believe everything you say, and Chip's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm with you!
Listen, I love those two dynamics. I would much rather see Mei end up with Chip than end up with Johnny, because there's so much wrong with that dynamic, and that's why I think there's been such a surge of, you know, the whole people love seeing Johnny and Mei interact in a familial dynamic, and it's been such a thing recently because that relationship is so cool. There's so much there. Fucking this man who was an orphan himself and trained to study the blade so that others wouldn't have to feel that same sorrow, and this daughter who has her entire identity has been bound by trying to get his approval. Like, there's so much there.
Please,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to.
think too that with Maybury, you also get the added dynamic that Johnny is also like a potential older brother or uncle or father also to Bridget, which I think is really fun. The fact that like, oh, this is the cool guy I can go hang out with, and while I go see my girlfriend, like he's driving the car while me and my girlfriend are kissing in the back seat. I think it just makes so much sense in my mind. Like it genuinely blows my mind sometimes when I go online and I'll see people be like, where did this Maybury stuff come from? Where did this and that?
It's
and
always
like,
been a thing. It's always been
so
a thing.
much sense to me.
There's
I think
art
that-
of them together.
Well, I
It's
think
like-
also just like I don't think there's any been ever misconstrued idea that Johnny does not reciprocate her feelings in any way, shape, or form and sees her as a daughter.
Yeah.
That is just a part of his character. But like, how like nice would it be to see like from Johnny's perspective, seeing he's clearly always been never known how to breach the subject because I've always thought of it like he doesn't want to hurt her and because
so
he cares
you're saying,
about her.
like, Bridget would be the way to open up that conversation, where because May is now exploring these feelings for Bridget, it then brings into question how she felt about Johnny, and then Johnny can open up and be like, hey, what about, I never felt this way about you, and we gotta explore why you had to feel this way in the first place, maybe your insecurities as an orphan, and like, what maybe you don't feel like you have a place in the world. Hey, I think you do have a place with this girl that you really seem to like, and has made you feel more comfortable and confident in yourself, and like, I just think the entire dynamic is all there already. I just think we're just waiting for it to happen, kind of. And I love playing with these toys in my mind and being like, yes, this is how it is.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not where I was
realizing-
going
Oh, sorry.
necessarily. Oh, no, sorry, Melly, what were you saying?
This is a little off topic. I just realized I forgot to bring up my Bridget redesign. I brought up my redesigns for every single one of these so far.
Yes, okay.
But
Make sure you send me your Bridget
Bridget.
redesign. It's gonna pop
I
up
will,
on screen
and-
right now.
And also I did a little comic.
Oh,
I did a little
yeah.
Maybury comic with,
Oh my god, I love
with
that.
both of my
That's-
redesigns of May and Bridget, so I'll
It makes me so
put that
happy.
on the screen too. Yeah, I
Oh.
love them. It's like,
Viv, talk about your art too. I've gotta put your art on the screen as well.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because I feel like now I'm just like shoehorned to get a plug, but
no,
yeah,
do it.
I-
This is what it's for.
I haven't drawn them in a hot sec just because I've been very busy, but yeah, I mean, my entire career really did take off from that one art I did of them where it's like the meme my girlfriend and her the Marie
Yeah.
plushie
Yeah.
meme, and that's kind of where my entire online identity came from, and then it's just like yeah, they just make me very happy. It just, I mean,
Yeah.
the only reason I ever like thought like I just saw a single piece of fan art that was I can't remember his name. He doesn't do Guilty Gear art anymore. He did a lot of stuff pre-Strive, like Aijito 1, I think.
I'm not familiar with that person.
I'm trying to remember what like the most famous thing he did, like a little series about like May taking like selfies
Oh,
with
yes.
every character that was like pre. He just drew
I
a
remember
picture
those.
of. Yeah, he just drew a picture. It's May and Bridget, like linked arms. Like it was right after she got announced, and they're drinking like boba. And
Yes.
I saw
love
that and I was
picture.
like, oh my god, I want to draw them. And that's where it all started from. And it's such like a holy shit feeling that like something. Yeah.
And obviously, I think we all have to do the Twin
Oh
Fates
my
show right
gosh.
here from Jaden.
Yes.
The longest
Yes.
Maybury fanfic on AO3, the best fanfic on
Oh,
AO3.
please. No, it's a lot of things I want to change in it, but currently I've been so busy with finals and stuff and like
It's okay.
colleges, but I am still working on it, I hope. And, hopefully I do find time to work on it. But I do also have other stuff for Guilty Gear because I just love this series so much.
I really have to give you credit because I think you on your own, like Jaden, have made so many people fall in love with with Bridget and May and Johnny. I know so many people who are like, oh yeah, no, Maybury, that's because
What?
of Jaden. And it's like, yeah.
Actually, oh my gosh, it means a lot to me because honestly,
I'm one of them.
I did that series on a whim. I remember finding out about it and I was like, holy these, because oh my gosh, I was explaining to somebody about like trans rep in series and I remembered Bridget and I like I was gonna send him an image of Bridget, and when I searched up Bridget, I think it was one of Melly's pieces, a piece of Vivian's, and also Atlas's, like Mayberry they did.
Oh,
And I was like,
I love
I do
Atlas's
too.
art.
And I was like, this rocks. Like, I should maybe do something with this. And then I, eventually kind of just started writing one day, and I was like, I actually love this. Like, I'm gonna continue. Shit. It was.
Melly, I won't lie, I thought I was you for a second.
I forget that I am using the like classic Bridget color on your screen, aren't I? Because on my screen, I have a mod that makes her transgender colors
That's awesome.
So
that I
real.
made myself. I made that one. It's not the one you can find on Game Banana. It's my own personal.
I respect it.
I don't upload shit to Game Banana. I hate Game Banana. I don't actually hate Game Banana. Well, I do, but
I'm
not.
on bad relationships
for any
with Game
reasons I
Banana
wouldn't
because
use it.
I have requested Waddle Dee Lila so many times and no one has made it for me. I even tried commissioning Kit to make me Waddle Dee Lila, but he keeps forgetting. I think I'm cursed
I
to
said
never
I
have.
was gonna do it, and I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Everyone keeps forgetting. No one wants to see Waddle Dee Lila. I get
I
it.
want to see Waddle Dee Lila. No.
Sorry, if I can just quickly cut in, just real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
do think, sadly, my time has come.
Yeah.
The curtains
Alright.
come
No,
down,
thank you so
and
much
I
for
do
joining
need to
us.
skedaddle.
Yeah, thank
no,
you.
I,
It
listen,
was
I had a
really
wonderful
great
time.
talking with you.
Yeah, I'm so glad we could finally set this up. If there were any final thoughts anyone wanted to ask or something, I don't.
What?
I love girls. I love women.
So true. I know you guys are probably gonna keep going. I just
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know if there was anything someone wanted to bring up with me, but if not,
what's your
then
next
I
plans?
will.
Once finals end, once you're done with school, you got any things you plan on drawing or thinking about or doing? Also, who do you
I
want
mean-
for Strive next?
Bridget
Fantastic
too.
question. Well, plans right now. Admittedly, I've been debating whether to share this or not, but I think I might take a little break from Strive and just. I'm someone who tends to hyperfixate on one thing for so long, and I think in the long run that's not a very healthy way to. I think I'm just a little emotionally burnt out right now.
Yeah, there's
in general,
nothing
so I
wrong
might
with
try.
that. I know Jaden was
may
expressing
take, like,
similar thoughts.
Yeah, maybe just take like a month or two just to kind of try some other stuff. I've, as much as it kills me inside to say, fallen down a bit of
But
a
what if
Genshin
the
rabbit
next
hole.
DLC character is Melly? What if the next DLC character is Melly? What are you gonna
That'd
do
be
then?
pretty hype.
Guilty
I would be a
Gear.
big fan of that.
Melly.
Guilty Gear Melly. I would,
Guilty
listen,
Gear.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying like I'm completely leaving. I just
Yeah, of
I might
course.
try.
There's nothing wrong
maybe I'll
with
try a
having
little
interests that come and go. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
even if you never talked
Yeah.
about the series again, no one would blame you or anything. There's no, like, arbiter of life saying, hey, you gotta be into Guilty Gear or else, you know?
That is true.
Sometimes it feels like whenever I get into something new, I'm like cheating on my other interests.
Yeah, they're getting lonely.
Yeah, it's
But
like,
yeah.
no, sorry, I still like you guys.
No, there's not a robot I can sexualize.
Devastating.
Hey man, back
But yeah.
off.
sorry.
That's my kind of plans for now, I guess. Just kind of see where it takes me. I always have idea. I have an entire like 8-page Word document just filled with drawing ideas, but I think
yeah.
I actually get around to drawing like 3 per page, and then actually end up finishing 1. So we'll see. But as for next DLC, I'm gonna be honest. I really want. Abbott, Dizzy, or Elphelt are like the 3 characters I really want.
So who do you think it's gonna be?
That's such a loaded question. My guess for this season in general was Johnny, Abba, Slayer, even though I don't really want him. I mean, I love Slayer, but he's not one of my priorities. And either Elphelt or Dizzy. I think I'd really
for
like
Dizzy. I love
Dizzy,
Dizzy.
if only because I want to see her interact with so many characters, and I want to see her. I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more of Dizzy as her like jellyfish pirate self, and less as just the Queen of Illyria, who is just there.
Agreed.
But
yeah.
yes, that is.
Thank you so much for joining us. It is absolutely a
listen,
delight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been so good. If you need me for any other episodes, I would love to set something up, especially because I'll probably not be up to my neck in chemistry work.
Yes.
Chemistry
God.
finals.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck,
Believe
good
me,
luck, good
I
luck.
will fucking need it.
All right. Well, Well,
All right, thanks so much for having me.
yeah, no problem. Bye.
Yeah, you cats take care. Bye.
Bye bye.
This is so cool.
She died.
Oh my god, she died! What? Alright.
Alrighty. She was so epic sauce.
So, you know, I didn't even ask this question, or maybe I did, I don't even remember. What do you think makes Bridget stand out from other characters on the cast?
Oh.
Like...
Her hit spark effects. Only Jacko and Bridget have stars when they hit the air once.
That's so cute.
Yeah, here,
That's so cute.
Check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jacko also has those whenever she attacks with Dopros.
I never noticed
But
this
yeah,
before.
it's
like,
just a little cute cartoony hit spark just for them.
that's how you know
Just for
she's
the
a
silliest
girl's
girls. Just for the silliest girls.
I have an important question to tell you guys. I found this out recently. What do you think Roger is?
Oh, brother. See, that's a thing where it's like, yeah, Mechanical Bear possessed by fucking something for sure. Don't know what. People say it's like ancient warrior. Probably like something old, but we don't know exactly what. We don't know from when or where or how it even got there.
Roger is just such a mystery, like...
Yeah, dude, like, her win quote against Robokai, just like, hey, my bear wants your body. Can I do that?
You know what I found out recently from Soul Rad Guy and other people on the wiki? Roger is her second yo-yo. It transforms from the second yo-yo into the bear. Like, I never noticed that before. That's insane.
Well, and that's what I was saying earlier about, like, her gameplay, where it's like you set the yo-yo and then Roger is summoned where the yo-yo is at, because that's her. Roger.
Roger Trans Arc next!
And also, his old sprites had the yo-yo, like, actually inside his body as well. It was very visible.
I also think it's really cute how Bridget has the hello whenever she lands her what's it called? The super where Roger's on the bike.
I wish that they made Return of the Killing Machine better, because not only is it just My Killing Machine and then Return of the Killing Machine the coolest names for a fucking super in any fighting game ever, but like the original one in Plus R was like way more interesting, I guess. And just the way it worked, it stayed on screen longer. You know.
Well, they also said when they were making Bridget that they had to make a lot of concessions in her game plan because she was so difficult and she didn't actually have a large player base, and also her damage was so weak that she was kind of forced to play into a poke and run style because that's how it ended up. Like, obviously, being able to place the yo-yo anywhere is really, really cool, and I like that a lot about Plus R Bridget a lot. I like watching her play. But I think I also really, really like how they modernized Strive Bridget, where her kit is so much simpler, and I think it carries the same moments of like, okay, you can set play around this yo-yo and do whatever you want with the yo-yo, but she still has like really free air dashes. Her back dash is like the best in the game. Like, I still get the impression that she's so free-form with her stuff. It's cool.
I just think the super's kind of underwhelming. Even though, like, I love the name of it. I love how it looks. It's adorable. Like, I love the motorcycle, the sunglasses Roger gets. It's great. It's just, it's not a very good... It doesn't do that much damage. I feel like it should do more damage or, like, move slower or something. I don't know.
At least Roger's really cool.
I love you, Roger. I love you, Rochelle. Rochelle. Ferrero Roger.
And on that note, I gotta say, it goes without saying, but Bridget has the best walk and back walk in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love them.
It's so
just
cute
like,
how she drags her little yo-yo along.
well, it's like in her forward walk, she's walking the dog, but in her back walk, the dog is walking her.
She's so full of life. They had so much fun making every
It's like
move.
It's getting away from her, and that that was also something in
Here, Jaden, can I spectate you
her
guys?
own animations too. Bridget.
And now I think would probably be a really good time to bring up the music.
Oh my
A Simple
gosh.
Life and The Town Inside
Oh, dude, I wrote a whole fucking video that was half just talking about the town inside me.
Me. I remember you
That's so
talking
weird.
to me a little bit about your entire trans video you were gonna make. Was it related to
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that was it. Like half of the video was talking about the town inside me, as well as "Smell of the Game," which I think is one of the most transgender songs ever. I think both of them are. But like it's so like I'm trying to think of what were some of my talking points for that video, but like saying like I hate the alarm clock I chose, tastes like vegetables I don't like, or it's like fucking what's the third time?
I'm not waiting for Santa Claus kind of stuff.
No,
I don't know.
that's but yeah, but it's like
She's ignoring what the
It's-
real
Right.
problem is by
yeah,
trying
it's
to
like
pin it on something else.
she's trying to just like she doesn't know why she feels like this, and she doesn't want to confront why she feels like this, which is why, like, you know, the town inside me, it has references to the original town she grew up in, but she's not there. She's away, and she's just looking at basically what she wants to be, but just from afar.
I got laughed at for saying this, but I don't know how else to express it, but I really do cry every time I hear The Town Inside Me.
Oh, me too.
Especially that last section.
Me too.
I think the song, and I don't hear this talked about ever, but I think it takes a lot of notes from musicals and stuff, especially with the way it's structured and how it's like examining how she feels from moment to moment, and especially towards the end where it's an entire chorus and everything's so jubilant and happy,
It
and there's
turns
like
into
horns.
ska.
Yeah, like
It turns into ska.
it makes me lose it completely.
And it's like, I wish that it was more like that for most of the song? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
a little bit, but
Like, I feel like that fits Bridget more, just like the, yay, happy. But, like, yeah, like, the way it develops is definitely a positive about it, in my opinion. And what was I saying? Yeah, and then, like, then what is this feeling? Who would I ask? It's just like, when you don't know like why you're feeling this way, and it's like you don't know if there's anybody else who ever has felt this way, you know, it's really daunting to address those feelings.
It kind of
especially when
back to what Lynn said too.
I also like
Yeah,
that
or
Town
like,
Inside Me also has motifs from A Simple Life too. Like it carries the melody like 2/3 throughout the song, which makes me happy. And also, The Simple
I love
Life is
The
just a
Simple
huge
Life.
bop.
I do love
really
it,
like
too.
it.
I saw this one video that was like, it was like a sitcom, it was like a sitcom opening, like set to A Simple Life, and it had like all the different Guilty Gear characters, and it was like, oh, this is actually so perfect. And, yeah, they're just good songs. And
It's so true.
I do understand why some people don't like The Town Inside Me, but I think it's beautiful.
a really good song.
I'm stronger than them, so and I could beat them up if I saw them. So
I could beat them up, but I choose not to. I'm a benevolent Melly.
Oh,
What's
I
that?
was gonna bring something up when the topic of Goldlewis and Kai was arise, but
Yes.
I think there's so much things you could do with Bridget, and especially now, like, sure, she technically is very, like, complicit with her identity, but there's so much things that you could do with her and other characters that it opens up so much avenues. Like, she has connections to Goldlewis, Johnny, she has connections with Dizzy and Kai, and to a degree May, and there's Soul, and you also have Testament with identities, or Venom if you really want to go with the LGBTQ route. Like, there's so much things you can explore with her that opens up so many avenues to explore the more human side of Guilty Gear things that kind of is missing with Strive, and I feel like she can finally be like a way to open that up, which is super awesome, I think.
Like, you can even say in certain respects, because Bridget has become so open with her identity, that is the exact reason why we got open Angie as bi. It's why, like, you know, Johnny might actually eventually confess to Testament, things like that. Like, it's opened the avenue for all this that can come in the future, which is really cool.
And I like how it's all within the realm of, like, possibility that can happen with Bridget. I mean, one thing that I've always wanted with Bridget and Johnny was, if the one ending is sadly, like, canon with her and Johnny, it can you can have a moment of forgiveness with Johnny, and you can actually open up as a person. And in a way,
hey, let me tackle why I felt that way, why I felt this disgust after, let me tackle all of this, and then realize, oh, this was all, like, this was weird, or, hey, do I actually feel this way about, you know, anything? And, like, I think there's avenues of conversation that can open up that I think we were all hoping for with Johnny's arcade mode, but...
And I feel like with that, you can explore a lot of Johnny's fatherhood, because a part of him is, you know, wanting to be a good dad for his many children, and I feel like he can finally learn how to grow and be a better man for them, and, you know, be a better figure for him. That also ties into May and also ties into Bridget, so it's just like, there's many things you can do with her, and I think that's really awesome. What were you gonna say, Melly?
I agree.
Oh boy, what was I saying?
Melly Monday.
It is Melly Monday after all. Tell me some slack. But it was about her story.
Oh, that could be isolating.
Her conversation with Kai. I love how they do, like, mention that they do already know each other, and it's like, hey, it's been a while since we've talked, and it's because Kai is the guy who gave her all the money.
She walked away with Dizzy's bounty.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't remember if it was her or if it was Jam that
it was Jam who lied about killing Dizzy and claimed the bounty, and Bridget was too late, and then Kai showed up and he's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, no, whatever, here, take all this money. Take all this money.
Another successful day of being a girl.
I remember. But, like, a lot of people point to her backstory as being, like, why her being trans is a retcon, but it's not, because she was always happy with being raised as a girl, but her parents wouldn't believe her.
They instilled that insecurity into her.
Yeah, and it's she only went out to, like, try to prove her masculinity and to, like, get the money for the village so that, like, people would, like, you know, not only to break the superstition, but to prove to her parents that she was happy.
I think I used to be of the belief that Bridget's story was never always intended to be a trans woman's story until I saw someone bring up the argument of, well, Bridget's character arc was about trying to be manly, right? And trying to rediscover manliness. Who does she go to learn how to be a man? She doesn't go to, like, anyone else. She goes to Baiken. Baiken was the idea of a man to her, which is like...
yeah, just like, teach me how to be a bastard.
And I think that right there is just the amount of disconnect she had to the idea of manhood and manliness. Like, and I think that right there just, it shows the progression of her character. I think that's really cool.
And, again, what I was saying, it's like, I feel like that's, with her parents, it's very realistic that a lot of trans people, it's like their parents, they say it's like, oh, we want to support you and want what's best for you, but ultimately, they don't understand what makes their child happy. They don't understand that, like, transitioning would be a good thing for them, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people could probably relate to that aspect of her character, that just that, like, she was doing all these things just to prove that she was happy, and then I love Bridget.
I love Bridget too.
I also feel like a part of her wanting to be bounty hunting was also, as you said, wanting to be more manly, but also just deep down kind of feeling like she wanted to mean something to her parents if she would come out. Because if we do go with the fact that, you know, she has been feeling this way for a good while, then it would explain a lot of things regarding, like, how reckless she is. I mean, she takes a bounty with Dizzy, a gear for all sorts, but she wants to...
The second coming of justice.
Like, she really wants to make her parents happy, because maybe deep down she's just like, I don't want to disappoint them if I am a girl. And I know I am a girl, but, you know, I don't want to disappoint them by being kind of a burden for them.
Is there anything more fundamentally queer than that feeling? Like, knowing what's gonna come next and just trying to, like, something I have felt frequently, you know?
And I feel like that just makes her so much more of a realistic trans character. And, like, you know, she's struggles with so many things with her identity, as well as wanting to feel like worth as a human as well as a woman. And, you know, I think that's just so real as a trans person.
To close up towards the end of the podcast, I'm trying to think if there's any other, like...
Oh, Bridget!
Same.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to say, or, like... It's not coming to mind, but I feel like I'm gonna remember as soon as I stop recording. Anything you guys
put my
still
Bridget
want to
on
add?
screen now. Put my Bridget on screen right now. Again. I know you probably already did it.
Again, right now.
Do it again.
Plug my favorite,
And the comment.
maybe. Hopefully.
Of course I'm plugging your fic. I already plugged it earlier. I'll plug it 2 more times. Read Twin Face, read Twin
God,
Face.
it's like...
I'm Blue Ribs on Twitter and Tumblr. I'm Blue Ribs on Twitter and Tumblr. With 2 B's and ribs. No space. BLUERIBBS.
Oh, I like that her gameplay in
Happy
Strive has
birthday.
become loop yo-yo constantly while they're in the corner over and over again, and she's just constantly mixing you up. Love that for her.
I mean, that was also something that she could do in the old games. Just lots of just high-low stuff. Not as much, I think, of a focus as it is in Strive. But like, if she got you in the corner in the old games, it's like you were not getting out of it for a while.
Oh, Bridget.
I love Bridget.
I love Bridget.
Good night, America.
Jay, do you have anything left to say, or?
Good, to be honest. Thank you for letting me speak on this podcast. It means a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Jay,
Yeah,
do you?
thanks for letting me on a third one.
No problem.
I'm just really happy that we had such a like fun, positive episode, and that we were also able to do it the justice of like addressing like some real concerns that people have, while keeping things relatively positive the whole time. Because I think Bridget, probably more than a lot of characters, I think deserves to be so front and center in Guilty Gear, because a lot of Guilty Gear seems to me speak about like, you know, living your life the way that you want to and just being as true to yourself as possible. And I don't think there's a better sort of one-to-one allegory than that, than you get with Bridget. So I think that is a beautiful thing, and it makes me really happy.
Me too.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate there's so much negativity surrounding the character sometimes, but who gives a fuck? I
do
like
like
her. And I think, you know...
So true.
She's so me.
Alright, and with that, that ends the episode of Talk to Me About. Thank you guys for
course.
joining. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye
night.
bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.